Welcome to the first episode of This is a new podcast that we're starting out to dive into our thoughts, get guests on each week. We are going to try and have this as a weekly podcast, but you never know what might happen. We're going to keep you updated, but we're really excited for this one. Mm-hmm. We're going to start doing our top 10 most anticipated movies of the year. Before we even start, put in your most anticipated movies for the year in the comments, because we want to hear your list, because, you know, that's why we do this. Because our list is going to be very different than most people's, and that's okay, because we all have different opinions. Me and Audrey both kind of sat through and kind of talked about this list.
Yeah, we'll probably go like every other one, but this is kind of our combined list of anticipated movies. But I'd say like we have pretty much about the same movies.
We have a very similar like palette. Maybe that's why we got married. I don't know. But it's kind of funny. I go back and look at some of our reactions, and we are so...
We're in sync a lot of the times now, because I do the editing for the videos, like our movie reactions, some show reactions, and I'm like, yeah, we're just on cue with everything now.
Like our heads will move at the same time. We'll kind of say the same stuff. So I guess our movie choices are about the same
They're
thing.
Gonna be similar.
So we are going to have two honorable mentions, and then we'll dive into our top 10. First honorable mention is Argyle. This movie to me is so interesting. It's coming out in the next couple months. It's starring Bryce Dallas Howard, Henry Cavill in it. It's a spy thriller. It's got so much mystery because it's based on a book that has not been released yet, with an author that no one knows who the author is. And some people are even thinking it's Taylor Swift. So there's so much mystery behind this project. And so I am so curious if it's going to be a good movie. That's why it's an honorable mention. It's not in the top 10 because I don't know what to expect. But because there's a lot of mystery and because I love Henry Cavill, that's why it made the list. Why are you excited for it?
Well, I didn't know anything about it until we saw the trailer for the IMAX when we took our trip to Nashville. I saw Bryce Dallas Howard, Henry Cavill. Then you kind of leaned over and like told me the premise of it. I'm like, that sounds really interesting. I mean, it seemed like more of a chick flick, but I do see some action in there.
Wow, making me look bad with wanting a chick flick, man.
Just accept it. You know you like it.
Oh, I love me a good chick flick, let's be honest. If they're good, I'm gonna watch it. Like, I'm the one kind of leaning towards kind of wanting to watch Mean Girls.
And we can go see it.
So, what's the next one?
The next one is Beetlejuice 2. Beetlejuice, I feel like it's like a cult classic. Everyone absolutely loves it. I do love the original movie. Kind of heard that the original movie might have had like a darker tone to it, but they changed it. We'll have to look more into it. But finally getting a sequel after how many years?
Oh my gosh.
The movie's been out for a while.
Yeah.
Like Michael Keaton's coming back, Winona Ryder's coming back, and I've heard Jenna Ortega's going to be in it.
She's going to be the daughter of Winona Ryder's character.
That's cool.
I think this is I think this is such an interesting premise. I think the fact they're bringing everyone back.
I'm guessing Beetlejuice is going to come back and he's going to get her daughter.
So that's why I'm kind of curious.
To bring him back to the real world or whatever you want to call it.
Oh, also, it's by Tim Burton. He's coming back for this one as well.
Well, he needs to. He's the one who did the first one.
Yeah, but you never know with reboots and sequels. But I think the premise is interesting. I think bringing Jenna Ortega in is brilliant. But is it wrong to say I'm getting a little concerned with Jenna Ortega? She is becoming known for just horror, and I think she needs more.
I mean, that might be her thing, but yeah, I would say maybe in the future she could try some different roles.
She needs some more range, even though I love Jenna. Like, I think her in Wednesday was incredible. This year, Wednesday season 2 comes out.
Ooh, yeah.
We're doing reactions of that. I'm excited for that one because... especially Wednesday season 2, but Beetlejuice 2 to me is such a interesting premise. That's why it's in our honorable mention. We didn't put it in our top 10 because we don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be great. We haven't seen a trailer. I don't know. But from everything we're hearing and everyone coming back, and I don't think Tim Burton would come back if there wasn't a good story. So that's our other honorable mention. Our number 10 movie, and this is going to be very interesting to get your thoughts in the comments because this one's fun.
Like, we're really curious.
Our number 10 is Snow White from Bentley. but it's being led as Snow White by Brett Cooper, who I've seen her YouTube channel. I think she's excellent.
She does a lot of like reaction stuff to clips and things.
Oh yeah, she's also a great. She started out with acting. I've seen her in some acting stuff. She's a smaller actor before she was a big YouTuber, so I think she can do it. But the reason why it's my number 10, and the reason why I even put it on the list, first off, no one's putting this on their list.
No.
Nobody I know of is putting this on their list. I'm putting this because the premise is interesting. It's the Daily Wire is putting their money where their mouth is. And this could be a huge success or a massive failure.
I think for me, worries are, is it going to be really cringy?
Cringy, corny. They are making the statement that they are going back to the original story. They're wanting it to have the same heart and story from the original. But that also asks the question, can the original story work in a modern world? That's the question. If it can, it will be interesting to see what happens in the future. But if it can't, then Daily Wire's in a mess. Personally, I think competition is good. I've talked about in the past, or I've kind of looked at like Disney. Everybody calls them like, oh, Disney's woke, Disney's this or that. I don't actually fully believe that. I believe the stories have not been great. I think we watched Wish, and Wish's story just didn't have a lot of heart to it.
Yeah, I came across a TikTok that they had another idea, the original idea for the story. I'm wondering if it's true or not, and that story sounded so much better.
Like the fact that they were going to have the wife and the husband, like the king and queen.
They were both supposed to be evil.
Right, and there was such a connection to the the fairy godmother, and it was interesting. So that's why I say I think Disney's issue is story related. I don't fully think it's messaging. I think saying, oh, it's all the messaging is like, no, that's kind of weak. That's a weak argument. To me, it's more the idea the stories are just not working like they used to. And I'm hoping they can come back. And with this movie specifically, if it can do well, if it can give a good story, if it can give you that same feeling you got from the animated Snow White, Daily Wire and Bent Key can be a real competition for Disney, and competition is good. I do not think competition is bad. Competition is good. If you don't have competition, you can't get better. And I think Disney has needed competition. I think DreamWorks has been doing incredible with their movies, and I think they're starting to rise on Disney, but I think they need more competition. And I think a competitor like the Daily Wire, who is really going after a more conservative audience, and I'm hoping they can go after mass audience, not just one niche audience. And so if this movie can be good quality, good directed, if it can do that, then I think the Daily Wire can be a great competitor to other companies. And I think if Disney has more competition against them, especially because they're releasing a Snow White movie the next year, after all the drama with like all the stuff that Rachel Zegler was saying.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
Rachel Zegler going after the original story was such a bad thing for Disney. And I think Rachel, I defend her a lot though. I will say she's a beautiful singer. She's a great actress. We watched her in Hunger Games. She was great. I just think that she let her mouth run, and I think she needed to step back. And I think you've seen that, and you've seen Disney push the movie out to 2025. And so we will get to see if this version of Snow White is going to be great, or if it fits fine.
I was going to say that's why we put it at number 10, because it's making it to the bottom, because we'll just look at it as a experiment movie, since it's a new studio and it's another company like wanting to tell their version of the story.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing. I hope to see more of that.
Number 9 is Mufasa. So I have not met a person who doesn't love The Lion King. I love The Lion King. It's one of my favorite movies growing up. The live action, like the story was still there. It's just I struggled with the animation of the animals. For me, that was my thing. And also too, like some of the songs from the original score were a little stiff in the movie.
There was no heart.
There was no heart. But however, Mufasa, I'm guessing it's a prequel for The Lion King, showing how Mufasa came to be king. So I'm really interested to see that storyline.
I am too. I think the idea that it's a prequel, But they didn't go sequel. That's what's really interesting to me. I was kind of hoping they would do the live action Lion King 2. I was kind of hoping for that because I love that story. I just do. I love the music in that movie. But doing a prequel with Mufasa and seeing his rise with Scar is really interesting. Do you think Scar's going to be the bad guy, or do you think he's going to be almost like a character that's driven mad?
Well, I'm guessing it'll be your typical, they both start off on the same level, then maybe favoritism happens, then it causes a rivalry between siblings.
Man, I'm just kind of curious. The story's going to be interesting with this one. It can do really well, or it can be... Disney's taking a chance with it, so that's why it's our number 9. Our number 8, and this one shocked me that I put this one on as number 8, but I am kind of curious, is Dune Part 2. I was not the biggest fan of Dune Part 1.
It was a little slow.
I struggled. I mean, don't get me wrong, the cinematography is gorgeous, and it feels so epic, but I just struggled with the story in that movie because it's very long, it's very slow.
I mean, I get why they did it that way, to get the whole foundation of what's going on, because, I mean, watching other movies that were made from books and they leave a bunch of stuff out, like important stuff, I get it. It's just sitting there in the theater, I was about to go to sleep.
Yeah, I struggled. But Dune Part 2 is interesting to me. I think the story that they're telling, it really is, I mean, I know Star Wars was based off of this, but it really is seeing this character as almost the rise of Anakin. And so I love what the story they're telling. And it seems like they're putting a lot more into this movie than the first one because there's not as much groundwork. And so I'm kind of hoping that this movie is excellent. And that's why it's my number 8, because it can only go up for me. And I think the cinematography still looks great, and I think there's just an epic feeling to it. I just hope they can conclude the story in a great way.
Number 7 is Sonic 3. I loved Sonic growing up. My first game console, it was mine and my brother's, was Sega Genesis, so I played the games growing up, and I really enjoyed the first movie. I think that was maybe one of her first Valentine's dates, I think, maybe.
No, it was the second one.
It was our second Valentine's date.
Because we took Jonathan with
right,
us.
because he was our third wheel.
That's so bad. So bad. I can't believe I did that.
Like, we didn't care. We're not really big Valentine's Day people.
And we do it. We celebrate it.
We just don't go all out on stuff.
We go to a movie.
Go see a movie.
It's not like we're movie people or something.
No, never.
I'm excited for Sonic 3.
Yes, so is Jim Carrey going to be in this one?
No, I don't think so. From all I've heard, I think Jim Carrey's kind of done.
I heard he had retired from acting.
Right. This one's focus will be Shadow. And my question is, are they going to go more campy like the other two? Are they going to take this one serious? Because Shadow's a very dark
Maybe
character.
with Shadow coming in and you don't have Jim Carrey as your comic relief, they'll probably go more serious.
Did you ever play the Sonic video game that had him running around with guns?
I didn't play that one.
It was such a fun game. I love that game so much because it showed the history of of Shadow. Shadow has a dark backstory. And I hope that they dive into that in this movie. Like, you still need to make it kid-friendly.
Did you watch the animated series?
Oh, yes. I love the animated series.
I watched a little bit of it. At the time, I don't think my parents had the channel it came on.
I watched all of Sonic animated because it was... Oh, I love that show so much. I really, really like that one. So that's why we put this one as number 7, because I'm curious. We haven't seen a trailer yet. We've got Shadow coming in. I think the first trailer or teaser will probably be Super Bowl. That's my guess. That's really early because the movie doesn't come out till December, but I think you want to start putting hype on this movie. Mm-hmm. Everyone loves Sonic, but that's why it's number 7. Our number 6, and this one's fun, is Karate Kid. I am so curious on this. We've been watching Cobra Kai. Cobra Kai is incredible.
I love that show so much.
It's so good. It brought the Karate Kid franchise to the modern world. The first season was on YouTube Red, and not many people were watching it. They brought it over to YouTube or Netflix, and it killed for Netflix. What was our story of you betraying me?
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I had mentioned I wanted to watch it, and he he didn't seem on board with it at the time. I grew up with the Karate Kid movies. I love Daniel San and Miyagi. Like, those were some of my favorite movies. The first one and the one where they go to Japan, those are two of my favorites. But I really wanted to watch Cobra Kai. So I can't remember if we were dating or might have been married.
I think we were married. We were
married, yeah. And he had to go into work one Saturday, so I was just here at the house, kind of bored. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give this series a try. I think I got to make the second, maybe third episode, and he got back from work, and y'all, the look on his face.
I was betrayed.
It was the look of complete and utter betrayal, and I'm like, what? You didn't seem excited to want to watch it.
I was betrayed. It was betrayal. But Cobra Kai was such an interesting show that brought people back to the franchise, because honestly, I like the Karate Kid movie that had Jackie Chan and Will Smith's son. I like it. It's not great. It's fine. It's fun. I mean, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had fun with it.
But the franchise was kind of dead until they brought it back for Karate Kid, or for Cobra Kai. And they treat it seriously. They treat it like Star Wars. And so now with this movie, they're bringing back Jackie Chan. They're bringing back Daniel Russo. Yeah,
I'm just curious how that's going to be, because Danny is karate, Jackie Chan is kung fu.
Also, I'm curious, are they going to connect it to Cobra Kai? They need to. Like, that's been what brought people back to the franchise. I want this to be great. I just don't know what the plans are. Like, they're planning to bring in a new kid to play the role of the Karate Kid. And they're basically saying anyone can apply for it. So they're going to try and find a new kid. And that can be good and that can be scary. Because that can also mean that the kid actor is not a great actor. So I'm curious what the plans are here. And so that's why it's our number 6. Because I love Cobra Kai. I trust them after Cobra Kai. But I'm worried.
Number 5 is If. Seen a clip on TikTok. This is a Ryan Reynolds movie, and it has something to do with a big blue fuzzy character.
They're imaginary friends.
Imaginary friends.
I think this is such an interesting premise. It's basically, if you have ever watched Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit.
That show was so out there.
It was nuts.
Fun with it though.
And that's kind of what this movie looks like. The trailer, it looks like Ryan Reynolds is having a ball with this role. It's very kid friendly. It's bringing in all these different imaginary friends. The movie's called If, but it's for imaginary friend. That's why it's called If. And it's so fun looking, and just like it just looks like a fun time in the theater. And I love seeing Ryan Reynolds in his element of just having fun. And this is coming out before Deadpool 3, so it will be interesting to see him in another movie other than just Deadpool.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for If. There's not a lot to talk about with it because we've only seen the trailer. It looks fun, but it's our number 5. Number 4, and I had to go with Kung Fu Panda 4. I am so excited for Kung Fu Panda 4. It just looks... It's bringing back the villain from the first movie. It's connecting to the first movie
really,
more.
it's bringing back all the villains that he's faced.
Right, and they're really putting that connection throughout the series. This is most likely the last one.
It looks like there's a higher rank than Dragon Warrior.
Well, it's spiritual leader. It's someone who is going to lead new Dragon Warrior. So I love that premise, and I love the story that they're telling. I'm excited for this one. I really, really am happy to see Poe back. I'm shocked that the Furious 5 has not been shown in the trailer yet.
I'm wondering if...
They'll be in it, but I don't think they're going to be in it much,
They probably
sadly.
won't be, yeah. So they'll probably have like a cameo real quick and be like, alright, we're done.
Yeah, we're busy with other stuff. We got other things we got to do.
Number 3 is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Again, Ghostbusters, I love those movies. The first one...
So don't hurt me. I have never watched Ghostbusters. Okay.
Gosh.
I haven't. I watched the newest one and I loved it.
We were taking away Luke's geek card today.
Hey, that gives us a reaction before this one comes out.
Okay, we can react to the movies before it comes out.
Because you know you want to react to the first one. That'll be fun. Well, so y'all know one of the reactions that's coming up, but I really am excited for this one. I loved Ghostbusters Afterlife. What was your thoughts on that one?
Oh, like, I wanted to tear up towards the end of the movie.
Oh, it was such a beautiful ending, and the kids in it, just you connected to them.
Like, you have this next generation of Ghostbusters coming up, and I think they have a really good cast for those kids.
And I love that they connected to Egon.
Yes.
Because I know I didn't watch the first one, but I still know everyone's connection to these characters and the love. And in this story, they didn't rely on the older characters. It's like, no, these are new characters.
But I like that the focus was on the kids.
And I think that's how you have to do a reboot or a continuation. This is the kids' story. This is not the original story. This is not the original characters. This is their story. You're watching them grow, deal with this crazy ghost world, and then you have cameos from the original characters. That's brilliant to me. And that's why I think the first one works. This one, on the other hand, it looks kind of more dark. They're back in New York.
Yeah, they're bringing an ice age.
I think I heard someone say that it's the ice is based on people's fear, and that they're basically getting scared to death by getting frozen.
That would be a superpower for a ghost.
So I'm interested for sure. That's why it's higher up, because I love that last one so much, and this one to me just looks great. I cannot wait. Number 2, Inside Out 2. I cannot wait for this movie.
That new emotion.
Anxiety?
That looks like anxiety.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna have anxiety watching him. I think this movie has such an interesting premise, having new emotions, seeing Riley grow up a little bit, dealing with those new emotions. It's gonna be really... I hope it doesn't go too close to home with anxiety.
I feel like they're gonna go as close to home as they can.
Oh, it's gonna be so emotional.
During your teenage years, that's when it all hits you. Like, you're trying to fit in, figure out who you are, and you're in middle school and high school. How much anxiety does that cause?
And so she was really first dealing with sadness in that one, and Happy was trying to take over.
Joy.
Joy. One of them is it is a character that looks like Bing Bong, one of the new emotions.
Oh,
It's like,
Bing Bong.
Oh, man. But I love that they're bringing in new emotions, and you just can tell this movie just looks great.
I think, is it Selma Hayek who's voicing anxiety?
I think so. I think what I loved, what was really interesting, when we did that reaction, we normally do pretty well with our trailer reaction. That trailer reaction,
It blew up, did it?
oh my goodness, it was like 54,000 views. I was like, what is happening right now? I loved it. I loved how well it did. I think everyone is just so excited for this movie. And it had to go with our number 2 because it just looks fun.
I mean, it's Pixar. Usually Pixar movies turn out pretty great.
But in saying that, our number 1.
Deadpool 3.
Yes. I cannot wait for Deadpool 3. I am so curious. There's been set leaks, there's been set footage. I've been staying away from all of it because I don't want this movie to be ruined. I want it to be good.
It has to be good. I'm counting on it.
Marvel needs a win. Marvel needs a massive win. And I think this movie is their win. You know, the Marvels was a real setback for Marvel. It really was.
They've had a lot of setbacks recently.
They have. I think the stories have just been messy. It really has been messy. And I do not take stake in it's MCU. No, it's not MCU. It's just bad stories. It's too messy stories. It's relying too much on the Disney Plus shows and then not relying on the Disney Plus shows.
I think the last really good, or maybe the last 2 really good MCU shows that we've seen on Disney Plus, the first one, hands down, was Moon Knight. That one was awesome.
You really like Moon Knight.
I loved Moon Knight. I think Miss Marvel did really well too.
I love Miss Marvel. I really enjoyed Miss Marvel. I think Deadpool 3 is such an interesting premise. I mean, you're bringing back Ryan Reynolds. You're bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I love Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Oh man, I cannot wait to see him back, and he's actually wearing the suit.
Like from the original comics.
Yes, and he looks so good in it. And I can tell people are hyped. I remember when we did the reaction to their announcement, people went crazy. That one did well for us too.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm just so excited. And it's Deadpool 3 has a lot riding on it, a lot. It's the first MCU rated R movie. It's connecting to the old Fox universe. It's going to connect to the MCU. It's so much riding on this movie. And I hope it's great. So, in saying that, that is our top 10 most anticipated movies. This is our new podcast that you're gonna see us talk more on, hang out. I'll probably have on guests, invite people, other YouTubers, get their thoughts. The whole idea of Fandom Unplugged is I want to get behind the curtain, basically. Reveal the curtain, get to know these people, get to know where they got on YouTube, what's their thoughts on the biggest topics in the movie world, what was their thoughts on Disney and their newest, like, whatever drama's going on, because it seems like Disney has a different drama every other week.
Yeah.
And just kind of get their perspective of what can Marvel and Disney and Star Wars and all these different companies and franchises, what could they do to do better? This podcast is for new people to just figure out why they love the fandoms that they love. And yeah, if you haven't already, hit that like button. Comment your thoughts. Did you think our list was crazy? Do you agree with some of them? Do you disagree? Because I want to know your thoughts. And we'll hopefully have a weekly podcast, but if it's every other week, it's going to happen because life is busy. Yeah. We'll see you later.
Bye.